Hello Year 10, sorry I can't be with you today, but this is a really important lesson, these science lessons, because it gives you an opportunity to do revision or work on specific skills to prepare you for your GCSEs. Now, in biology, you have been recently working on a topic and you should, in the next week or so, get an end of topic test. So I want you to take this opportunity to do some solid revision. So you should have been issued a biology textbook, and like with all these textbooks, at the front it gives you the different topics that you are studying, and we're currently on this one over here, SB4, and that means we're looking at natural selection and genetic modification. Now, what is interesting is when you look at the chapter, that gives you an indication of the different topics that you need to know. So that's going to give you a guideline as you're doing your revision, and you'll also see it starts from page 75. So if you can make sure you all have a textbook or one between two of you, and turn to page 75. Now, there are so many different methods of revising, and what is important is that as you go along, you're making revision notes so that when you get to the end of an assessment or end of a year, when you have end of year exams or the end of year 11, that you don't then need to sit down and make revision notes. I really like revision cards, because if you can ask a really good question and have a really good answer to learn from, chances are with practice you are going to be able to nail any question with regards to that. Now, one way of doing that is a mind map, or another way, which I also recommend using, is a revision clock, and I'm going to show you how you do that today. Okay, so this is what a typical revision clock looks like. It works on the principle that just like a clock, you start at 12, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. You can see I've left a segment out here because I knew this one will need a little bit more space. And what I've done, using the specification that tells us what you need to know for the exams, I've taken out key headings, and that gives you an idea of the key ideas you need to pull out. The idea is that you spend 5 minutes on each segment. So to start off with, if we go to this bit, Darwin and Wallace, their work, natural selection and impact. So in the textbook, what you're going to do is you are going to look at the first couple of pages, and you'll see there's quite a bit about Darwin's theory on page 78 and 79. So 78, it talks about genetic variation, it talks about natural selection, and it also talks about antibiotics and antibiotic resistance. So that's an example of natural selection. So what that is doing, that's giving you an opportunity between 12 and 1 to make sure you know what the definitions are, what the processes are. There isn't a huge amount of space, so you want to pull out the key scientific words. If there's a diagram you can use that. And for the second one, is looking at the bit about foster evolution and bacteria, and diagram D on your page gives you a lovely picture to describe that, and they love asking about that in exams. So that should take you about 10 minutes, and then between 2 and 3 o'clock in your clock, it says evidence of human evolution based on fossils. And what you will look at the previous page in your textbook, you can see all these pictures of early man, there's key information that you can pull out, not only from your textbook, but remember, you can also use your class notes because your teacher would have pulled out important bits for you to learn. So those headings I've typed on your page, those are going to form part of your question in your revision cards, and the notes that you're putting on, that's the bit that you want to get in your head. Now, if one segment is a little bit too small, then use your head, turn over, use some space on the other side of the page. If you have a study guide, and I strongly recommend that you go to the website in the science section and you look at the study guides that Mr. Gregson has recommended, because the sooner you start using your study guides, the more sense it makes. It doesn't make sense waiting until just before the Year 11 exams to go and get a revision guide. So go and have a look, speak to your teacher, and ask your parents if they could be so kind as to order you the study guides. If you're not sure which one, please do speak to your teacher. So this lesson is really a bit of a gift because we are going to give you this time to put your head down, really focus on what is in your textbook, in your exercise book, and fill as much of this in as possible. There may be one or two sections that you haven't yet done. That's absolutely fine. You'll still come across it in class, and you can finish it as and when you get to those sections. Year 10s, I'm expecting you to work hard. I'm expecting you to work in silence. If you need to ask the teacher anything, hands up, and good luck. Make sure you make this as scientific as possible. Make sure you understand. Use your time wisely. And then remember, as far as the questions go, the more you practice, the better you get. It might be that each segment you take a photo and put on your phone, and perhaps when you're on the bus or no one's looking, you can flick through and practice getting this work into your head. Work hard. And if there are any issues, please ask the teacher to email me, or you can email me too once you get home. Good luck, work hard, and practice hard.